So here's the story about Predator, Killer of Killers. It begins with a codex entry saying this: Go forth among the stars and seek only the strongest prey. They shall be your trophy. Become the killer of killers. This codex entry has a number, so they must have others that are part of their hunting culture. We see a Pred ship going to Earth in the year 841 AD. The first episode is called The Shield. We meet Ursa, who leads a group of Vikings. She brought along her son Anders. They are seeking revenge against the enemy. They assault a tribe and overcome them and capture one prisoner. Ursa would ask him, "Where is Zoran?" They get his location and get rid of the man they caught. Meanwhile, during these events, a Predator ship flies above them. You can see the shimmer of the cloak as it passes by. The group would take a break to rest, and we see what happened to Ursa's father a long time ago. Zoran assaulted her tribe. She is marked with the blood of her father, and in the end, Ursa was forced to get rid of her father by her own hand. While the group is resting at the campsite, a predator watches them. They would track down Zoran and assault his camp. Her small group would defeat a large tribe of warriors, but they are still being followed by a predator. They do find Zoran, but it is Anders who ends up getting rid of him. But their victory is short, as the predator appears before them. This one is massive. It's like 11 or 12 feet tall and very muscular. A battle commences, and it wipes out everyone except Ursa and her son. This predator would use brute strength, along with a sonic cannon on its right arm. So Ursa battles this predator alone. She gets knocked off the mountain and lands into a lake of icy water. She wakes up from a nightmare to see the Pred standing above her on the ice. But since her body is in the cold water, her body heat is blocked, so she's invisible to the predator. This giant predator would then remove his mask, which appears to be damaged. Ursa would use the anchor of a ship against the predator. This leads to an underwater battle. She would use the shield against the Pred's sonic cannon weapon, which he has on the right arm, which then propels her out of the water and pushes the Pred back deeper into the water, with his head going through the ship's anchor. And that's it. He's done. She would find her son, but he does not survive. The end of the episode shows she was captured, and beside her is a man, which leads into the next story. We go to Japan in the year 1609. Two brothers are part of the story called The Sword. They are forced to fight each other by someone who could be their father or the lord of this land. The boy who lost the duel would survive and gets cut on his face. He then flees the castle as his brother becomes the next heir to the throne. They would live separate lives over the years. When their father passes away, they would hold a ceremony to honor him. But on this night, the brother who ran away, Kenji, would return, and a predator would be seen watching. Kenji would infiltrate the castle, battling through many guards until he finds his brother. The two of them would battle, but Kenji was only there to defeat his brother and scar him in the same way. The voice actor for Kenji is Louis Ozawa, who also played Hanzo in the 2010 film Predators. Kiyoshi would fall off the castle and into the water below. He survives and shows up later. Meanwhile, Kenji battles the predator but also tries to escape it. The weapons of this Pred are wrist blades, a bladed spear, a retractable chain with a claw, and some bombs on the wrist gauntlet. Kenji would watch as the Pred takes out a few guards. He quickly learns about how it fights with its weapons and the use of invisibility. There's a scene where Kenji is hiding under the roof as the predator walks by him. This scene is similar to one in the first movie where Dutch was hiding as the Pred walked right above him. He runs through the castle and on rooftops, trying many ways to evade the predator while still trying to fight back. He falls into a stream of water below and he thinks it's over, but it's not. He meets up with his brother the samurai. They fight for a short time, but then they have to work together to fight against the predator. They do end up defeating the Pred. Kenji would survive, but his brother would not. The end of that story shows Kenji was also captured, which brings us to the third episode. The year is 1941 in Florida. We meet Torres, who wants to be a pilot one day. This story is called Bullet. Sometime later on, he gets to work on a ship as a pilot, but he's stuck around trying to fix his plane. We also meet Vandy, voiced by Michael Biehn. He's one of 3 actors to join the club of being part of the Terminator, Alien, and Predator franchise. Other actors that did this were Lance Henriksen and Bill Paxton. But then they come under attack, many planes are damaged, and Torres finds an object in one of them. He would take it back and examine it to find out it activates and tracks the heat of an active engine. Before they can do anything else, the object flies away, tearing the engine from the plane. Torres wants to warn the other pilots that went to the sky, but they're out of range. He's the last pilot left on the ship, so he starts up a plane and takes off. When he shows up to warn the others, they quickly make contact with a new enemy, a ship controlled by a single Predator, which leads into an epic air battle. This ship would use harpoon weapons and some type of disc with laser tentacles, and another scene shows it would use a net that cuts through the plane. Torres would fly into enemy lines. When both sides are shooting at each other, he would lure the Pred ship there so it takes damage from both sides. But the battle is not over. He finally destroys the ship by using the harpoon weapon against the Pred. His plane engine gets hit by the harpoon, but he outsmarts the Pred by getting the cable of the harpoon to whip his plane engine into the Pred ship from above and destroys it. He's later seen back at his motor garage. It's late at night, and then he gets captured by the Predators. The scene changes to the inside of a Pred ship, where Torres is inside a stasis chamber or a pod. And here is how they connect all 3 stories, even though they are from different time periods. The idea of using stasis chambers to preserve the bodies of warriors they capture was previously used in the comic books. The 3rd story of Theta Berwick, called The Last Hunt, explains that humans would discover a stasis farm. People were taken during times of war across decades, maybe longer, then placed in a stasis chamber and releasing them only so they could be hunted by predators. Even Theta herself was captured by a predator in the story, then released when it was time for the final battle. Torres would meet Ursa and Kenji, but they speak different languages, so they cannot understand each other. These 3 humans defeated predators, so they are considered great warriors. All 3 of them were brought to the Predator homeworld and placed inside an arena. Here we meet the Warlord Predator, and he looks awesome. He's got a cape made from the bones of another creature, and he wears the skull of another predator. The device on the neck of the humans is also a translator, which lets them understand what the Warlord Pred is saying to them in their respective language. These 3 humans will fight each other, so only one will survive, and that survivor will have the honor of facing the Warlord Predator in a final battle. If they refuse to fight each other, the device on their neck is also a bomb. Each person will receive a weapon of their tribe or time period. Ursa gets an axe, Kenji gets a sword, but Torres gets a flintlock pistol from 1715, which belonged to Raphael Adolini. But this weapon is not even from his century. This pistol is in fact an Easter egg. It was shown in the comic books, Predator 2, and also Prey. The massive skull in the arena could be a creature that's been on the Predator homeworld. One theory is it could have been a Quatsa Ridge, or maybe some other creature. The bone of a Quatsa Ridge was then used for a ceremonial mask. It was worn by the Elder Predator during the Rite of Passage, where 3 young hunters would face off against a single Quatsa Ridge. If they were victorious against this creature, they would be considered adult clan members. The mask was created by Sideshow Collectibles and designed by Steve Wang. One thing I noticed is the Warlord Predator speaks in an actual language, not just clicks and roars. Some fans are naming this the Predator King, which might be a fitting title, but if you look in the credits, his actual name is the Warlord Predator. This could be the leader of the military of the Yautja, or maybe it is the actual king. There was a theory that the cape is made from the bones of the xenomorph and the ribs of an alien queen, but an article said it might be predator bones or another species. The three humans would fight each other for a bit, but then stop as Torres gets swallowed by a creature. Could this be the Quetzal Ridge? Or maybe it's the legendary Grow-T that was mentioned in the video game AVP Extinction. They both walk on four limbs, with a similar body structure, so this might be a match. It could be the Grow-T. Kenji and Ursa would defeat this big creature. While Torres is still inside it, the body gets pushed away and Torres later escapes the body. He would use the wrist gauntlet from another Pred to remove the device on their necks. Ursa and Kenji would face against the Warlord Predator, while Torres tries to figure out how to control the Pred ship. Kenji gets his arm cut off, and Ursa goes back down so the others can escape. She is captured and kept alive. The Warlord Predator then gives orders to his army, "Let's go hunting." We then see many Pred ships would rise into the sky and chase after the humans. The ending shows Ursa is placed in a stasis chamber again, but we also see other things during this scene. This one here is a mystery, but one theory is that it could be the Drukhthi, which were mentioned in a few novels. They were said to have 6 limbs, 4 stout legs, and 2 thin arms. This was a species that the Yautja actually feared, but it is said the Drukhthi have migrated to another galaxy, and their vessel appeared more organic in appearance. They knew about Xenomorph XX-121 and took an interest in them, and were also breeding with them. Another stasis pod has the body of a human man. This could be Dutch, even though his story was expanded in other sources, or it could be Quinn McKenna, the one who took down the Predator in the 2018 movie, or it could be Dutch's brother, who also took down a few Predators in the comic books. We also see that Naru from Prey was captured and placed inside a stasis chamber. So the Pred ships we saw at the end of the movie Prey were not coming here to battle. They only came to capture Naru and also took the pistol. And that is the story of Predator, Killer of Killers. I really liked it. I just wanted the battle scenes to last a bit longer. If they do make another animated movie like this one, then I'm up for it. Why not? It was good. And as for my rating of the film, well, as a Pred fan, I'd say this was an 8.5 out of 10. The downside to this was the frame rate. It's not as smooth as it should be. And also, some fight scenes were so good, but went by so fast and I just wanted more. Now I want to see Naru come back in the sequel of Prey and see where this goes. So what do you think about the movie? Tell me in the comments, and I'll see you later.